Listen up, hockey fans. You're in the right place. A no-hold-barred debate between two hockey fans. Stay up to date on current issues in the NHL, even the controversial ones. Welcome to The Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud.
It's time for the Debate Hockey Podcast, episode number 20. Tonight on the show, chaos in Carolina, as Carolina Hurricanes remove Ron Francis as general manager. Is this the right decision at this time of the year? We'll also talk about the NHL Players Bowl. Who are the players' favorites? And what teams are surging as the playoff race begins in the National Hockey League? I'm Brad Brew, joined alongside co-host Blake Friars for another edition of the Debate Hockey Podcast.
InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com.
Topic number one on the debate tonight. Carolina removes Ron Francis as general manager. Thoughts on this one, Blake?
I don't know. I really don't like this move from an organizational standpoint. I mean, you look at Carolina, you're 6 points of a playoff spot right now, and you pull this kind of stunt. I mean, I was listening to an Elliot Friedman, the 30 on Thoughts podcast, and they mentioned about this is like a polite way of saying like you're fired.
Goodbye,
which I totally agree with. I mean, yeah. So I mean, he's still with the organization, but from an owner's standpoint, what kind of direction do you think he's going to go? I don't know.
Well, I don't see him making it through the offseason. He's been, they say promoted, but I would say demoted to president of hockey operations. And to me, I'm not sure what's going to happen with this whole deal, but their owner Tom Dundon is definitely shaking things up. It slightly reminds me of the whole Florida chaos we had. That proved to be disastrous for them, and now just finally they're starting to get back on their feet. But, you know, it's confusing. This Dundon guy wants to be very, very involved in the day-to-day operations.
He wants to be hands-on with everything, and he almost it's almost like he wants to be the GM and the owner type of thing. Well, I don't think you can do that, to be honest. I mean, obviously he's going to hire his own guy, but maybe he's going to go down the analytics road with his new GM. I don't know.
Well, what the thing is too, and this is the part that's got me really wondering. You know, is people are likening him to Cuban and Mark Cuban and the owner of the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA, and he's extremely hands-on to everything, telling his coach to do what and stuff. And you know, there's arguments that say, well, this guy owns the team. He should be able to do what he wants to do. But my biggest question in this whole topic is, who the heck's going to want to be the GM of this team if you're really not going to have any say?
It's almost like you're going to have the owner breathing down your neck on every single move you're going to make, right? So,
well, if you're the coach.
The GM,
the coach is going to get...
What about Peters? What's his job security like right now?
If they
can't be good.
If they fire him,
can't be good.
They're crazy because I think he's a good coach, and
I think he's a good coach too. But if they bring in this GM, he's going to want to bring in his own coach. No,
I would think that would be the next thing.
Usually the GM wants to bring their own guy in unless he's a Joe Quenneville type of coach, which I don't think Peters is that kind of coach. But I mean, you can't really fault Peters for this season. I mean, he's got nothing up front. His goaltending's been subpar. Scott Darling's been brutal all season.
Well, here's one of the problems, and a lot of people have been all over Francis, and I am a little bit on this one. I'm a little critical. I think Ron Francis is a great hockey player. I question maybe his general manager skills. I mean, in all the years he's been there, in 4 full seasons, he never completed one player-for-player trade. Now, I'm not saying you got to trade to be a good GM. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, though, good GMs are active in getting players and active in changing that roster to change their ways in the standings.
Look at Lou Lamoriello in the last 2 years. Perfect example of that.
There's all kinds of them that are, Neil down in Dallas. I mean, look at what he's done. Bringing in a whole different core of players and stuff, and now that hasn't paid dividends yet, but it just might here. I don't know.
Carolina's a disaster, man. They're you watch their games, the attendance is a joke. I mean that's a dying franchise. I mean they've been in relocation talks for all season long, and, boy, I wonder what the next direction is in Carolina.
Yeah, Well, I don't think it looks good. I mean, I know Dundon didn't get along with Ron Francis or see things eye to eye with him, and there's been talk that maybe Carolina wanted to get a jump on this because there will be a lot of general manager spots open at the end of this year, and they wanted to get a jump and make sure they get somebody hired right away so they get to pick the cream of the crop. And I've heard tons of different names out there as potential suitors, and Dundon has a bunch of ties to Dallas, and I often wonder if maybe Dave Tippett will end up in Carolina, but I don't know.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is, though, who the heck would want to take this job as GM? I don't think that you're going to have a lot of say based off what's coming out. And if I'm going to be a general manager, I don't want some owner that's not really a hockey guy telling me how to run my hockey team. I mean, I understand he's an owner and he's, putting up billions for this team, but I mean, it's kind of tough to dictate all the way down to your coaches on what you're going to do if you're the owner. You kind of have to know your role and hire the guys that you trust to be successful, correct?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, but you look at their team, like they got a good back end, but up front, like besides Skinner and an overpaid Jordan Staal, they don't got much up front.
No.
I mean, I guess you got Sebastian Aho, 20 years old, but Tuvo Teravainen, Victor Rask, maybe. You got a 36-year-old Justin Williams.
It's scary.
They need generational talent to boost the franchise. To be honest, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
No, I don't either, and I worry about the health of this franchise. And here's another thing to take into consideration: this team loses money.
Oh, absolutely.
If you own
every single year,
if you own a team, how many years? And we got some bad examples in the National Hockey League. I mean, look at Arizona, but how many years, if you own a business, do you want to take losses before you say, "Hey, this isn't working"?
Well, that's what I think this new owner is trying to do. He's trying to. He wants to get a fresh start. He wants to give the franchise a fresh start. Now, I think that's his way of thinking that. Get rid of Ron Francis, get a new voice in the GM position, and maybe you turn this thing around. Who knows? I don't know.
So here's the second question: who wants to be a GM there? Well, I've heard rumblings that this owner's. This is trickling down to how the players are treated and how he interacts and has fans interact with players in situations. I wonder if you're a player that's a free agent, are you signing in Carolina right now? I'm not.
No, probably not.
I mean, you don't know who your coach is. You don't know who your GM is. You don't know who any of these guys are going to be. I mean, I don't know how you can feel comfortable signing there.
Yeah, it's almost like nobody wants to go play in a hockey market in like Toronto and Montreal this time around. Nobody wants to go play in a shitty market. I mean, but I don't know. I wouldn't want to go play in Carolina. Heck no way.
I wouldn't either. I mean, the thing I guess that's most shocking about this is probably the timing. Wouldn't you agree, Blake?
Oh yeah, for sure. There's 12 games left in the regular season, and then you fire your GM. I mean, that's kind of a kick in the face to the players, no?
Oh, I would think so.
Absolutely.
NHL news, opinions, and controversy.
Topic number 2 on the debate tonight. Let's talk about the National Hockey League Players Association's player poll this year, and a couple interesting things that I thought were on that. And let's talk about the first one here, and that's underrated player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was interesting. They had Nicholas Backstrom at 8.6%, Jaden Schwartz at 6.8%, Kucherov at 6.2%, Barkov at 6.0%, and Riley at 2.3%. 385 players voted on this, and you can see all the results on NHLPA.com. It's a really cool I don't know. It's a cool read.
Yeah, for sure. Honestly, to me, the most underrated player I think is Ryan O'Reilly. To me, for the Buffalo Sabres.
I am going to disagree. I like
he continues to produce, and he's got nothing around him besides Jack Eichel, who's been hurt every single season of his career. The guy continues to produce, continues to score goals, and shuts up and plays hockey. He doesn't complain about playing in a market like Buffalo. He is their biggest leader by far. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the league.
I see two of them.
If not the most underrated.
I see two of them on this list that stand out to me, and that's Alexander Barkov. If Alexander Barkov was playing in Montreal, we would get his name slammed down our throat every single day. Another one is Kucherov.
Mm-hmm.
This guy has led the league in scoring for most of the year, but yet if you stopped 10 hockey fans, normal hockey fans, and ask them who leads the league in scoring, I would bet you they couldn't even tell you.
Yeah.
The guy quietly puts up points every single night. And yes, he's a star, but I don't think he's treated like a superstar.
Are you talking? You're talking Barkov?
Kucherov right now.
Oh, Kucherov. Okay, yeah. It's hard. Kucherov flies under the radar.
I know, that's why he's underrated. I mean, he is. He doesn't get the press like
he flies like
he doesn't get it like
with the media. The media, as soon as the game's over, who do they go to? Steven Stamkos. They don't go to Kucherov unless he scores a hat trick. Unless he scores a hat trick to win the game.
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. I think he's underrated. I think he's a driving force to how Tampa Bay's been this year, and quite honestly, he's not the first person talked about.
It's one of the best 1-2 punches in the whole league. I mean, Steven Stamkos and Kucherov. I mean, they've been unstoppable all season long. I mean, Kucherov is probably a candidate for the Hart Trophy this year.
Oh, for sure. Let's move on to the next one that we both kind of talked about a little bit, and that's role model. Sidney Crosby got 33%, Jonathan Toews 9.6%, Patrice Bergeron 6.0%, and Shea Weber 3.1%, and Patrick Marleau 2.6%. And you know, Sidney Crosby has probably got ripped on a lot, I think, over the years, and I think he's a great hockey player. But hockey player aside, when it comes to role models, if you're looking for your kid to be a role model, to follow in the way these players act, I think Sidney Crosby, this is dead on the money, I think. And I think Jonathan Toews is too. Both of them are stand-up guys. I've never heard one thing in the press or anything about Sidney Crosby or Jonathan Toews negative.
No.
I think that's dead on.
I think they're the two best leaders in the whole league. You even put Patrice Bergeron in that category. There's a reason why Crosby's been Team Canada Olympic captain for the last two Olympics, 2010, 2014. Jonathan Toews could have been the captain, but boy, the leadership. If you're a young player coming to the league, I mean, you look at the All-Star game, for instance, Brock Besser, look who he was talking to. He was talking to Sidney Crosby. He was talking to Jonathan Toews. Those young players just get to pick their brain and see what it's like to be in the NHL. And if I'm a young player in the league, absolutely I'm going to talk to Sidney Crosby or Jonathan Toews. Why wouldn't you?
They've been stand-up guys since day one they got into the league, and that's a lot of credit to them.
Crosby, for instance, he came in 2005, 2006, he was the face of the NHL, a young kid from Nova Scotia, took the league by storm, and boy, he's just turned into quite the man for the young talent.
Let's move on to the next topic, and I thought this was really interesting, and it's probably something we need to look at all the way down to youth levels of hockey. And one of the questions they asked the players was, what quality do you appreciate in a teammate the most? Work ethic, 1, and it was 26% of the votes were work ethic. Team player was second at 14%, honesty 7.7, loyalty 6.0, and respect 3.8.
Honestly, work ethic is bang on. I mean, when you're building a team and you want to play with a special teammate, you're gonna want him to have good work ethic. You want him also to be a team player. All those qualities make a good teammate. But work ethic though is the most important thing. Because if you're lazy, you ain't cutting it.
Well, you want to think? You know what's left out on there though?
What's that?
Talent.
Team player. Work ethic is talent.
No,
if you have good work ethic, you're a talented player.
I'm saying it's left out probably for a reason. Because you know what? If I want a teammate play next to me, I want someone that's busting their hump every single shift.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely, 100%, 110%.
I thought that was really interesting. Of all we'll leave this one for last. We're going to come back to this one. Let's move on to best arena. The Bell Center got 24.8. United Center got 21.9. Madison Square Garden got 14.6. Staples Center got 5.4. And Bridgestone Arena got 4.9. This is interesting. I've been to 16 of the NHL rinks. I've been to the Bell Center. I've been to the United Center. I've been to Madison Square Garden. So I've been to the top 3. I would definitely. Now we're talking their favorite rink to play in. I'm sure the players took a lot of things into consideration on this. I think they probably took in what they can do after the game into this consideration. I think they probably, I think they put a lot of things into consideration. Now the Bell Center
is in the league. If Vegas is in the league more, they're on there too.
Well, we'll see here. The vote was just done. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. I think there's Bridgestone Arena probably wasn't on there 3 years ago, but it is now.
Look at what they did last year. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's great. Now, piggybacking on this one, let's talk about the best fans. And I'm interested. I disagree with this one a lot, actually. Chicago got 30.4. Nashville got 19.4. Montreal 18.8. Toronto 4.8. And Winnipeg 4.3. Now, honestly, I think Winnipeg should be at the top of the list. I've been to Winnipeg many times, and that is honestly the best atmosphere I've ever been in. It's the smallest rink in the whole NHL. It only holds 15,000 fans, and it is the loudest rink I've ever been in. Me too.
In my life, it's unbelievable there. It's the fans there are so passionate, and they have their team back, and they're never going to let them go.
You know what? Another one that I think that's really earned their way to move up, and that's Nashville. They're at second here. And another one that's not on here that I thought in the times I've been there that it was such a great atmosphere, and I think it's even better now with the new arena, and that's Edmonton.
I've been to Edmonton's new rink. Oh, boy, you gotta go there. If you haven't been there, you gotta go. It's a party in Edmonton.
And it doesn't even make the best arenas. The players didn't name that as one of the best arenas, which surprises me. I've been there. It's the nicest rink I've ever been in. It's state of the art, man. It's in downtown Edmonton. There's lots of stuff to do there. Boy, it's quite the party in Edmonton for sure. Now here's the last question we'll discuss, and this one was the one that was the most shocking to me because I thought the results would be completely different on this. The question was, do you like the way points are currently awarded for a win or a loss in the regular season? 77.7 said yes. 22.3 said no. 412 voted. A few players suggested a 3-point system as an alternative, but the majority of the players are happy with the current system. And I personally like the 3-point system, but I don't think we'll ever see it.
Oh, you're talking 3 points for a win?
3 for a win, 2 for an overtime win, 1
1
for an overtime loss, and 0 for...
What is this? What is this? The MLS Cup here is soccer?
Well, why are we giving points for overtime? I mean, we want to eliminate 3-point games, right? That's why it's hard to move.
Just get rid of the loser point. So if winner gets 2 points, loser gets nothing.
Yeah, but okay. So if my team loses in a shootout, I'm not buying that. We at least deserve a point.
Okay, then.
Because all of a sudden your team loses in a shootout and you get nothing because of a skills competition?
Yeah, okay. I honestly don't even get me going with the shootout because they should just get rid of it altogether. It's a joke.
I know, but they're not going to get rid of that.
Yeah, well.
It's too big of a selling marketing tool for the NHL, and it drives me crazy too. But I don't think you can just go to the 2.0 point. Shootouts are, I mean, they're down now because of the 3-on-3, but they're still too prevalent, and I would hate to see
you don't
that.
even have to get rid of it. Just put the 3-on-3 overtime to 10 minutes. Problem solved. You get no shootouts.
Yeah,
you might get the odd shootout,
but the NHLPA will not go for that because they don't want their. Because if you go to watch the 3-on-3 now, it is the same players over and over and over and over and over. They can't go for 10 minutes.
Well, then you got to adjust your system then.
I know, but you know how that would go. I just think if you went 3-2-1, it would solve all this problem, and you'd be able to catch up in the standings easier when you're down too. Because
what do you get the 1 point for? Overtime loss?
3 points for a win, 2 points for an overtime win, 1 point for an overtime loss or a shootout loss, and 0 points for a regulation loss.
Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know about that. I just can't. They got a good system right now. I feel, but
do they really?
I
mean, evidently, 77.7% of the NHL players like it. So
yeah,
that just tells me it's not changing.
I like their system. It's good.
I thought the player poll was fun. It's fun to read. I suggest people going to NHLPA.com and reading it. It was pretty interesting.
Inside Edge Hockey News. Dropping the gloves. And stirring the pot.
Topic number 3 on the debate. Let's talk NHL playoff race. We're a month away from the playoffs, and what teams are on the ups and what teams are on the down, and where we think these teams are going to end up here a month from now.
Honestly, oh man, the Eastern Conference is such a toss-up. I mean, Columbus is 2 points out of third place. I mean, Pittsburgh's 1 point out. I mean, of first place, and then you got Florida Panthers sneaking in there right now. They have a great record at home. They're 21-9-3 at home. Roberto Luongo has been a rock for them back there. They're 3 points out of a playoff spot, and they got 3 to 4 games in hand on everybody in the Eastern Conference. So that's going to come into play. And boy, I really thought New Jersey was a lock for the playoffs, but I looked at their schedule, man. They got the hardest schedule of any team in the Eastern Conference.
They go on a killer road trip now.
Yeah. That's do or die. If they don't come out 500 on that road trip, kiss their playoff hopes goodbye.
Well, you look at this. Florida's 8-1-1 in their last 10. Columbus, if my computer would quit flashing, they are 7-3-0 in their last 10. Now, these are teams that are making a playoff push. The Devils are 4-6-0. They're falling. I think the Islanders are out. The Rangers are out, obviously. So I think we know the Eastern Conference. Tampa Bay, Boston, and Toronto aren't moving.
No. Toronto might catch Boston.
Yes,
maybe.
but they're not. I mean,
those are the three.
Those three are not moving. And then I don't think that. I honestly, I don't think Washington and Pittsburgh will move anywhere. I think that'll stay the same. They could flip flop in position.
They might flip,
but they're going to be 1-2. And then I sit and look at Philadelphia, and they lost. Now I mean they're struggling a little bit now. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10, but I don't know. Columbus could catch them. They're 2 points back of them, but I don't know. I just it's going to be tough to see what happens there. And I'm looking at like the projected records and the probabilities. The Athletic currently has Florida as a 73% chance of making it. They've got Columbus a 77% chance, and they got New Jersey a 50% chance.
Listen to this. New Jersey, At Vegas, at LA, at Anaheim, at San Jose, at Pittsburgh versus Tampa.
I know.
Are you serious?
It's a killer road trip. They're not going to make it.
To end the season, they got Toronto, Washington. They're done.
They're done.
Unless Schneider absolutely stands on his head
He
and Taylor Hall goes on another 15-game point streak down the stretch. No, they ain't. I was telling my buddy, like, he's like, oh, Devils are a lock, buddy. Look at their schedule. There's no way. There's no way they're making playoffs this year. I mean, they've been a good story all season. Good story all season long, but
I don't think they're in. I don't think they're going to make it. I think it's going to be Tampa, Boston, Toronto, and Florida.
You think Florida's in?
Yep, I do.
I think they're in too. I think Florida gets in too.
And I think Washington, Pittsburgh, Philly, and Columbus are in.
Yeah, I think right now the only thing that changes in the Eastern Conference is Florida takes New Jersey's spot.
Yep.
That's only. Yeah, I other than the Metropolitan flipping a little bit, the Eastern Conference is pretty much set. But boy, you go to the Western Conference, that it's a battle with four teams for one spot. I mean, you got Colorado 80 points, LA they're playing the Vancouver tonight. They're up 2-0. If they win, they're in the second wild card. You got Calgary, who, boy, I really feel bad for Calgary, man. The last three games, they've put close to 50 shots on net. They got nothing to show for.
103 shots in the last two games at home, and they lost them both.
Yeah. They got, in the NHL, and hockey's just not fair sometimes. Sometimes you pepper their goalie, and Lundqvist and Gibson stood on their heads, and there's nothing you can do. I mean, Gulletson had another outbreak at practice today. I mean, you really can't fault the players for these two losses and this. But boy, for Mike Smith to call out his team after his first game back in over a month, boy, I think that was a no-no for sure.
I think Calgary's in big trouble. I don't like where they're sitting now. I don't know. Kachuk could be out injured now. He's got, looked like a concussion last night. And I don't like where Calgary's sitting. I don't like the way things are going there. I feel like they're a better team than what they're showing. And now they go and have to take on Edmonton at home tomorrow night. And, and that's just going to be – they have not been good against Edmonton lately. And Edmonton would give anything to end Calgary's season, and it's almost do or die on that Tuesday night game.
Oh, I mean, but you look at Calgary, yeah, they're struggling to score, but Colorado, LA, and St. Louis all have 2 games in hand on Calgary.
Yep, that's another problem. Problem. I don't think Calgary gets in. You need to win those games against the teams like the Islanders. Those are must-win hockey games. Islanders are coming in last night, lost 8 in a row, 8 games in a row. You can't lose to those guys. I think in the West we're gonna have Nashville, Winnipeg, Minnesota, and Dallas, and I think Colorado's gonna miss out. And I think on the Pacific it's gonna be. I think it's going to be Vegas, LA, San Jose, and I think Edmonton and Calgary are going to battle down, Calgary and Anaheim are going to battle down the stretch, and I think Anaheim will get it.
You don't think Colorado makes the playoffs?
No. Where are they going to fit in? They're going to have to take a wild card.
They're going to get the second wild card.
You think so?
Absolutely. The way Nathan McKinnon's been playing, hands down. That top line is one of the best lines in the NHL. Landeskog, McKinnon, and Ratner. That's a good line.
Let's roll through the projected numbers here. It's just always fun to see these. They got Dallas at 74% chance of making the playoffs. I would agree with that. They've got San Jose at 84%. I would agree with that. They got Anaheim at 73%. I think that's a little high. And they got LA at 61%. They have St. Louis at 33%. They have Calgary at 26%, and they have Colorado at 54%.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think this will be the year that this will be the first time in a while that all California teams get in the playoffs. I mean, that's kind of cool.
Well, if that's the case, then Colorado won't be in.
What do you mean?
Well, you can't, only three go from a division and then a wild card. Well,
I'm not sold on Dallas making.
You think Colorado's going to beat Dallas?
I'm not sold on Dallas yet, man. Ben Bishop has not been that good this year.
Well, they would have to really stumble down the stretch.
Well, they're only 2 points up on Colorado. Colorado's got a game in hand. They wouldn't have to stumble that much.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. That'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Hey, I'm just interested to see who wins the draft lottery. To be honest, my team's dead last in the NHL.
Well, that's not a good thing to be proud of, but it'll be interesting. I think this Pacific Division is going to be the funnest race to watch down the stretch.
It's going to come down to the last day for sure.
InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com, your inside source for interviews with players and members of the hockey world. InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com.
It's time for another edition of 3 Questions. Blake, I got some good ones for you tonight, and we'll roll through these quick. Brad Marchand's hit on Anthony Duclair, dirty or not?
Absolutely ridiculous. NHL needs to send a message. This guy, if you want to really send a message, give this guy a 15-game suspension. None of these 3 games. He knew exactly what he was doing. If you watch the replay in slow-mo, he clothesline Duclair, man. It was absolutely dirty. Unreal. Ridiculous.
I'm a big hater of Marchand, but on this one, I feel like he turned and boom, the guy was there.
Don't say he was trying to get out of the way because he drug his hands and clotheslined him.
It was at least questionable. Most of Marchand's are not questionable to me, but this one might have been a little question.
The guy is the dirtiest player in the league.
He is by
far, absolutely. The guy is a hack, and it's unfortunate because he's a great hockey player. He's Canadian. I like the guy. I like he's a gifted hockey player. He's gritty. He's small, but he doesn't need to play the style he plays to be successful in the league. Question
number 2. Do you think players should comment on bad calls, whether it be the social media method or through the media? Jamie Benn sent out a tweet this week about the goalie interference that didn't even involve his team.
You're talking the Pittsburgh goalie interference?
Yeah, let's not talk about the goalie interference. Yeah. We both agree that was a bad call. But
I like when fans and players voice their opinion on social media. I mean, we all got freedom of speech. NHL player.
The NHL is not a fan of it.
It's not like the NHL can fine you for tweeting something.
They can actually.
No, it's not going to happen. I don't honestly, unless you maybe bash an official or in a media scrum, that is questionable for me because I don't know. But social media, I mean, you got to watch what you say on social media. Everyone will have a comment for you, but I don't have a problem with that.
Question number 3. What is your feeling on the NHL-sponsored 2018 NHL Gaming Championships?
Oh, I like it. I already signed up for that. Absolutely. Xbox One. I'll be in Toronto for sure.
Oh my God.
It's actually so cool. That is.
I'm going to tell you my perspective on it. I think it is stupid.
From a marketing standpoint, that is genius. You know how many people play NHL on video games? That is an absolute marketing genius idea. So many people signed up for that in a heartbeat. Absolutely, I love that idea. I think it's awesome. They should do it more. The MLB does it. NBA does it with 2K. I mean, EA Sports does it with Madden and the partnership with NFL. All sports are doing it. NHL finally woke up, and that's a good way to make money. It really is.
So they're going to be televising this, and one of the things that I think is crazy about this, in a world where, as a parent, we're all trying to make sure our kids aren't on their couch and they're out playing the sport of hockey, not playing it through a video game.
There's some pros and cons, but
the NHL is actually losing kids every day. Hockey Canada numbers are down. they're losing kids every day because guess what? I'm just going to be lazy and play it on video instead of actually having to go out there and do the work of playing a sport. Think about that, though. Just think about that.
This is their first time doing it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They ditch it, no problem. But, I mean, I think it's a good idea.
This was our first episode we're doing over Skype because you're back home in Canada, and it's a little bit different when we're not sitting in the same studio doing it together. But hopefully it sounded good for everybody, and hopefully the listeners, it doesn't sound too different that we're not sitting in our studio next to each other. But we'll be doing this periodically when one of us is on the road. But it was fun again tonight, Blake, and hopefully we have a good week of hockey action.
Yeah, I thought it worked well. The sound sounded all right. I mean, it's a bunch of trial and error stuff, but I thought it overall was good tonight.
Playoff races ahead of us. It should be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Thanks for listening to the Debate Hockey Podcast. Check out Inside Edge Hockey News for all your hockey news. Follow us on all forms of social media. Download the Debate on your favorite podcatcher. Check us out on Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeart, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed this week's hockey action.
Inside Edge Hockey News on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. Get connected.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Debate Hockey Podcast with your host, Brad Burud. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit InsideEdgeHockeyNews.com and on Twitter at InsideEdgeHOCKE and Facebook at Inside Edge Hockey News. We'll catch you next time.
This has been a production of Inside Edge Hockey News Radio, copyrighted and distributed by the Inside Edge Hockey Media Group.